Hello, Snap-On Nation. Today we're going to show you the setup of your PBC58 and PBC57. When your machine arrives to your shop, it should look just like this. Nice pallet. The box should be completely covering the machine, and you should be strapped in there. Make sure that that's the case. Once you get the machine opened up out of the box, it will have a bag on it as well for protection, any moisture protection. When you open up the door, you will find your side tray or your front tray, accessory tray, which mounts right here, is packaged over here on the left-hand side. And you will also find your 25-pound pail of soap will be mounted to the turntable inside your machine. So be sure to take all that packaging off and get it prepared. Inside you'll also find packaged about a 2-foot piece of PVC that mounts on your stack in the back just to help with the exhausting of the steam coming out of the machine. Once you get the machine unpackaged and positioned where you're going to use it, be sure to have a licensed electrician come in, and he's going to hardwire into this box right here. There's an inlet coming in there. You want that hardwired, and be sure to make sure you have an licensed electrician hook that up. All right, as a maintenance procedure, over here you'll see the pump filter. It is a metal basket that just holds a foam style filter. Be sure this is clean, because that heavy duty intake that's powered by that big bad 3 horsepower pump will suck one way or another. So if this is clogged, it's gonna pull in some dirt out of the filter, which you definitely don't want, because then you're gonna get some clogs in your nozzles. But all you gotta do is just take out that filter element. You can hose it off, whatever you wanna do to keep it clean. But be sure you do that, because that's gonna give you the most effectiveness and longevity of your machine. And that slides right back down, and that's your filter. Your tray mounts on there. You want the lip to go on the inside. Mount that on there to load your products. You're going to put those on your heavy-duty turntable here. This is a 30-inch turntable. It'll hold, on the 58, 1,000 pounds. On the 57, it'll hold 500 pounds. You'll also notice that there are mounting holes here for the optional tree. You can use that for any smaller parts or anything along those lines. Load your parts in. It'll roll nice and easy for you with that all the way up to 1,000 pounds. You'll notice the pin that holds the turntable in. It keeps it from allowing your parts to move around when they're inside the machine. Okay? Be sure that pin's always on there. If you hear some banging around inside, open it up and check that so that it doesn't damage any parts or your machine for sure. You'll notice all your nozzles are on the left side, right side, up on the top, and also on the bottom. So we clean 360 degrees. That's pretty much the internal parts of the machine. Next, you'll notice a dashboard. This is our 24-volt dashboard. The 220 comes in the back. All the front panel is 24 volt. You'll notice you have the jog to turntable switch, which will show you what that does. And you'll see the turntable jogs. It's so that you can line up the carriage, and you'll be able to pull your turntable out to the tray. Next, you have the skimmer, pump, heater, and this will tell you when the machine is actively running. You have your water level gauge here, temperature here. Should run somewhere around 160 degrees, plus or minus a little bit, depending on outside temperature, how long it's running. Turntable circuit breaker, if that's pushed out, all you've got to do is pop it in. In some cases, what you'll find, if something got stuck in there and your turntable got jammed, it'll pop that rather than damaging the motor or breaking the chain or damaging the machine. You have the pump breaker here, same situation. It's an internal protection so that you don't damage the machine. It'll pop the breaker rather than damaging anything. Timer cycle switch, that'll take you from 0 to 60 minutes. You can set it at whatever you feel necessary, depending on how dirty the parts are that you're cleaning. Back here is your skimmer system. What this does is this removes the greases and oils. Our suggestion is when you come in the morning, turn on your heater to warm up your cleaning solution, and turn the skimmer on, because overnight all of that oil and grease would have risen to the top of the fluid, and it's a much more effective cleaning, and it removes all of that grease and oil out of there. All you do is run that into a bucket and that can go into your waste oil. This is your turntable motor. You really shouldn't have to mess with that, but just so that you know where it's at and what it does, that's the turntable motor. That turns the number 40 drive chain. We don't use any kind of friction drive or anything like that. It's a little bit non-effective. This is much more effective and will give you longevity. Next, you come over to this big, bad 3 horsepower bow door motor. That runs the pump. Made in America, and it is just ready to work. Give you many, many years of use. So I want to close this up and I want to operate the machine. Now your machine's operating. You can hear very, very quiet. You'll notice the green LED light at the top. That lets you know when the machine is running. Once the cycle is complete, that light will shut off. You'll know that your parts are clean and ready to take out. I'm going to cut the cycle short here so that for demonstration purposes, because I want you to be safe out there. And if you notice, if I open this door immediately, we're going to get a lot of squirting and we'll get a lot of steam. We're not up to full temperature here, so we're not getting full steam. So our suggestion is give the machine, after it's done its cycle, give it 30 seconds or so just to kind of drain down and for your safety so that you don't get burnt. Then all you got to do is, again, jog your turntable to line up. To bring it out, release your lock pin, and you can roll your parts out nice and clean. Now you've had your machine for a while. Every once in a while, what you might want to do is you'll take this is just a paint stick, but you can take any kind of ruler or something like that and scrape across the bottom of your machine. And if you get any kind of sludge or any dirt buildup on the bottom of that, what you might want to do is come on over here to the left side of the machine. And let me jump on this side, but you'll notice that we've got an 1.5 inch drain valve here. What you do is drain your machine out. You can take your hose and hose it out, capture any of that sludge or anything. That sludge can go into your waste oil. You should have no problems as far as that goes. And also keep in mind, this is aqueous, so it's a water-based chemical. Water-based chemical can be just disposed of out of the drain. And that allows you to clean the inside of the machine. Keeping it clean is definitely a benefit for you and the longevity of your machine and the quality of the clean parts that come out of it. So unbox your machine. As we said, you'll notice that it's in a bag. That's just to keep moisture from it and protect it during shipping. If any of this is not the way the machine arrives, be sure to let us know. This is your skimmer disc. You'll notice that it's packaged over here. We found that this is the best way to prevent any damage and very easy to assemble back onto your machine. It is hooked up, wired. And you set your disc in there. And there's 2 simple screws here on the side that go in and hold that in place. Now, side by side, you'll notice the difference between the two. As you'll see, the 58 is an additional foot higher. This gives you 53 inches of working space inside, as compared to 41 on the PBC57. You will notice that this has a little bit of a different dashboard, a little more basic, has a separate switch for your heaters, your pump, again the 60-minute cycle switch. We do have the pump circuit breaker on there for protection, as well as the turntable, and then your turntable jog switch. 57 has a 2 horsepower motor that drives that heavy duty pump with that large 4-inch intake inside. Turntables and drives are the same for both. Gear motor, chain driven. Your skimmer control on the 57 is right here. When your machine arrives, This is your owner's manual. It's got all the information that you may need. There's an 800 number in there for service, and anytime you can call that and we'll get you taken care of. Please give us a call prior to your franchisee. You'll also notice on this manual that it tells you that having a licensed electrician hook this up. For your safety, the machine's quality, performance, please have an electrician hook this up. It's much better for the longevity. When this machine arrives, it will be hanging on your pump, ready for the work. Thank you so much for your time and buying Snap-on parts cleaning equipment. We appreciate the business.